Hello and welcome to the post kind of semifinal matchup, Gem City Gridiron Roundup podcast. I am your host, as always, Dalton Van Pelt Scotch on the sidelines. With me, I have the commissioner.
Yep. It was nice not really having to set a lineup this week since I am technically in the off season, but it was fun to still set a lineup. But I'm just watching from the sidelines now, and it's been fun to watch these last couple days with games on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday to wrap it all up to make the way to the Succup Cup championship game and toilet bowl.
So there's only 4 matchups that matter this week.
Correct.
But we got plenty of IRL football. I hope the audio quality on my end is good. I just turned the gain down a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds good still.
So as to not pick up some background noise.
Yep, sounds good to me.
All right. First up, the Fighting AJ Browns took care of business. Ryan Tannehill found out it's nice to actually have a wide receiver.
Yeah, and they're going to get a little scary if Derrick Henry makes his way back for the wild card round. Man, they're going to be back to full health, and it'd be interesting to see what kind of workload they give Derrick Henry. Maybe they just go out there and give him 30 touches and just say whatever. But they did not limit AJ Brown at all. 11 catches, 145 yards, and a touchdown.
Yes.
So big day for him. People that played him were rewarded. Most of those people were probably already out of the playoffs by the time AJ Brown came alive. Like Patrick. Patrick did play him. Good for him. Because why not? Tannehill looked better. The running backs were kind of all split up. Foreman got the touchdown. Hilliard got some run. And McNichols got a little bit as well. But it was the AJ Brown show.
Debo does what Debo does.
He's one of them.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Debo did what he was supposed to, so that helped.
Yeah, and he got a little unlucky down at the 1 yard line on one catch, and down at the 5 on another catch and run. So his day could have been even bigger. But I mean, you'll take the 28 points and some change in fantasy. But man, I mean, we can talk a little bit about next year also. But where does Debo go? Is Debo going to get drafted too high, probably, or is he going to be?
Well, I mean, you believe in that offense, don't you?
Yeah, but it's not going to be Jimmy G next year. It'll probably be Trey Lance.
I don't think so.
No, I bet it's Trey Lance. But maybe they still utilize him. I bet he's probably third round.
Debo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
I don't think he squeaks into the top 24, but I think he's probably no later than the 4th round, obviously. But I see him going probably in that 3-4 area just because of the utilization. I mean, it's going to kind of bring to question obviously Cordero Patterson's a whole different. I mean, they're using them the same way, but obviously Cordero Patterson's 32 years old, and that's a factor as well. But like they're using these players, a lot of coaches are using these players out of the backfield and out wide, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Well, they're basically bringing in a H-back position, like you're in the backfield, you're in the slot, you play all over the place. Maybe we might even see Debo run routes out of the tight end position just because he's built really strong.
I bet he's probably about 3rd round, 3rd, 4th. I'd say 3rd. That's probably where the consensus will be next year. Be interesting to see.
The Dolphins are currently using all 3 running backs, that being Duke Johnson, Philip Lindsay, and Myles Gaskin. Jalen Waddle has 5 catches. 4.
Jalen Waddle, he might catch 100 balls next year. He might catch 100 balls
easily. This year. He's 4 for 26 right now, which is just fine for me.
Yeah.
Moving on. Very good game in Green Bay.
Yeah.
The Browns had so many opportunities to win this one and just could not get it done.
When they needed it the most, they needed to run the ball because they were gashing them. Nick Chubb was having a hell of a day. But it just was not going well when Baker was throwing the ball. And everyone complains about the last play. I mean, was there a pass interference? Yeah, probably. But when you're forcing Baker to throw, I mean, things aren't going to go well. And he threw 4 picks, and he's probably not going to get the payday he wants this offseason.
No, what do they do with him?
Well, you got to pick up the 5th-year option. You got to pick up the 5th-year option and go from there. Maybe trade him, but I mean, because he's going into his 4th year, so you got to pick up that option this offseason or sign the extension, right? It's 3rd year, Josh Allen's 3rd year. So
yeah, but I don't think he would sign one right now just because they'd be getting him at such a huge discount. But
yeah, Baker won't sign anything they put in front of him, because if they do sign him, it's going to be for lower tier money, which is what he's worth right now. I mean, in a must-win
bet
game
on himself because he has to.
Oh yeah, and he will. But they can move on after. I mean, they could move on this year, but I don't see what they're going to get better unless they're going to get one of those top tier free agent guys that are going to come in and swap a trade. Yeah, Russell.
But I think they're in the same boat with Russell as they would be with Baker. But
yeah, Russell's kind of fallen off a little bit this year, and we can touch on that. But yeah, that offense runs through the running backs, and the receivers have been okay, but the receiver, they need to add a top tier elite receiver this offseason as well. They're going to try to attract anybody to come play for them, because Donovan Peoples-Jones and Juice Landry and Anthony Schwartz and Austin Hooper ain't going to quite do it. I mean, it's nice when you got, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in the backfield, but
Peoples-Jones looked really good in this game, by the way.
Yeah, he's good prospect. I mean, he's going to come into his own. But you need a quarterback that can
hear in football.
What?
Prospect,
yeah.
It's a weird word to hear in football. 5 for 58 for Peoples-Jones. Miami or Michigan product.
I thought he had like 1 for something.
Nope, 5 for 58. Unless I read it wrong.
Yeah, I think that's a different player. So I think he only had like 1.
Oh, sorry, Rashard Higgins.
Oh, Rashard Higgins. Yeah, he's at
maybe that's what I was talking about.
But yeah, Rashard Higgins, he's been pretty good too. But he's been on the back burner behind all those receivers. Obviously, Jarvis Landry ain't gonna go anywhere. But Packers look good. Aaron Rodgers does Aaron Rodgers things. Devontae Adams, I know we've had this discussion about Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams, but I think Devontae Adams is still probably the number 1 wide receiver. Depending on what happens with Aaron Rodgers next year, kind of got to see where that happens. But I know Cooper Kupp's been outstanding, but I mean, what Adams has done for, multiple years, kind of gives him the tip of the cap, but can't cover the dude.
Looks like there's still 2 playoff spots available in the NFC based on what was just pulled up in the Dolphins-Saints game.
Yep, 5 spots clinched in the NFC.
Colts beat the Cardinals on Saturday, 22-16. Kyler Murray and the gang have been falling off every week.
Yeah, they have. And the Colts are the complete opposite. The Colts
is just hilarious.
Yeah. JT has a heck of a game, just as a normal game itself, wearing down the Cardinals, but doesn't get in the end zone for the first time in 10 weeks or something like that. So kind of lackluster day in the fantasy part, but the Colts are just moving folks, and they don't have many of their offensive line right now, and doing that against a decent defense. And like you said, Kyler not performing as well. James Conner surprised and active.
I don't think this week was really his fault though.
Yeah, Colts are pretty good. I mean, they're pretty good, and Chase Edmonds, heck of a day for him with James Conner out, and receivers can't do much. Hopkins is not going to be back to the playoffs, it looks like. So,
which they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, they've clinched a spot. They're not in the division lead anymore, but they still have a way to win the division. I was looking at scenarios for that. They have to win out, obviously, and the Rams have to lose one of two. And then they would tie, and Arizona would own the tiebreaker. So from what I was reading, because that's key to one of our bets for the season long. So I was just getting a little research ahead of that. Yeah.
All right. The Lions covered again. Falcons take the victory 20-16. I didn't see a single highlight from this game.
Yeah, I drove most of the day on Sunday. I was listening to some of the games, caught a lot of the game by game recaps. I caught most of the second window games at halftime. But it was a Tim Boyle game, Jared Goff on the COVID list. Amon-Ra St. Brown tearing it up all of a sudden in the last, 4 or 5 weeks. So that's going to be a name to watch for next year. I mean, you watch these games now and you're kind of, putting nuggets in the back of your head and, who might be more emerging next year. And that's one of the guys in that slot role, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 for 90-ish and a touchdown. So obviously being worked in the offense, obviously Swift is out and Hawkinson's out, but coming into his own as a rookie. So that's good for them to see.
Josh Reynolds was still targeted 7 times. It's just, it didn't seem like Boyle could connect on the deep routes. Kyle Pitts also had a good game for him.
First time in 2 months.
Yeah, he'll have those every now and again. Look for him to be worth his draft value next year.
He's probably going to go the same round, probably the same area, maybe a little higher.
Which he should.
He might even go a little higher.
I think it depends on who's quarterbacking there.
True. Is it Matt Ryan?
We don't know.
I don't think so.
He might be in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, probably.
Tampa Bay. God, this was a boring one to watch. I can't believe I even had it on. 32-6. Cam Newton and Sam Darnold looked completely ineffective. Just absolutely awful.
Just what
Chuba Hubbard, awful. Everyone's awful.
Just what the NFL wanted to watch: a Sam Darnold, Cam Newton platoon at quarterback
against Tom Brady.
It ain't gonna work, guys. Yeah.
Are the Panthers joining the AFC East? Because that's basically what Tom was going up against, is like the Jets and Bills of old.
Yeah, but I mean, the Saints still have his number. Obviously, the Saints have kept right up there with them, at least like head-to-head wise. Antonio frickin' Brown, man, a 50% target share, 10 for 100. Yep. Doesn't look like he missed a beat after being hurt and suspended. Right in the back in the good graces of TB12's arms.
Ronald Jones was saved by the touchdown. He had a very ineffective day. He ran the shit out of the ball, though. Keyshawn Vaughn with the long touchdown run. That was actually pretty exciting. It's about the only thing exciting about that entire game.
Yeah, it was a very boring game. Blaine Gabbert got in.
Yep, he did. Joe Burrow.
I want to be ready for my drink. Joe motherfucking Burrow. Dude is lighting the Ravens up, especially this year.
Yeah, he hates them.
He's got over 1,000 yards in 2 games against them. 525 and like 480.
What is it with the Ravens offense? And it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, it runs exactly the same.
Well, I think that's obviously credit to Harbaugh. But it's because
whoever the offensive coordinator is.
Yeah, Greg Roman. And
really still?
Yeah. But the thing that makes it run the exact same, the thing that makes it run the exact same is the type of quarterback that they're utilizing. Like
the same.
They both, I mean, obviously like Tyler Huntley and Josh Johnson aren't Lamar Jackson, but they have the running capability to be able to continue that offense. Obviously, Lamar is obviously way more prolific, but that's kind of why that's kind of why I think the Patriots moved on from Cam Newton, because they're not going to run the same offense with Mac Jones and Cam Newton. Like you want it to be linear all the way down the line where you hopefully can't miss a beat.
They've done a really good job of locating the quarterbacks who fit the exact same.
Well, it's just like the
persona.
Panthers, Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, PJ Walker.
Same.
They all suck.
They're all the same.
So they're all, yeah. Well, they're all different, which means they all suck. So it's not going to work that way.
Mixon has a good game, 2 touchdowns. I mean, the entire Cincinnati offense just was off the chain.
Yeah. Chase had 100 yards. Higgins had 100 yards. Boyd almost had 100. Mixon had 100. I think I saw they're one of the first groups with Burrow throwing for 4,000 yards, 2 1,000 receivers, and a 1,000-yard runner, all under the age of 25. So everyone's getting a little excited for that, obviously, for next year. Yeah, that's scary. T. Higgins, as slow as he was at the beginning of the year, man, the last 5 or 6 weeks, he's been popping off, including, I mean, this week, 43 points. And
I'm about to lose 3 points right now, by the way.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Brett Maher.
They got to score sometime.
Yep. Actually, it's good because I took the over 39.
Nice.
I've got Miami and over 39. So the more points, the better.
Good.
Okay. I actually killed it in bets this week. We'll get into that later. Cowboys shellac the Washington football team. Antonio Gibson gets bailed out by the touchdown catch. And that's basically the only thing that happened on Washington's side. Amari Cooper, squeaky wheel gets the grease. We talked about it. Malik Turner out of nowhere in garbage time with Cooper Rush throwing him the ball.
Heck of a run if you didn't see that play. It's great.
Yeah, that was wild.
And then he got rewarded a couple plays later for the touchdown.
He just laid out across the goal line.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Antonio Gibson, I don't think played in the second half at all.
Doesn't matter. He scored exactly what he was supposed to.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, it was like, I was going against him in another league, which I ended up, thankful he wasn't on the field, and I still only lost by 0.08. So could have been a lot worse, but I know, crazy. 0.08 of a point. But like I've told you, and I've told some other folks, I scored 89 points between Dak, Amari, and the Cowboys defense because there's some wonky scoring for defense, and it's a 6-point per touchdown pass for quarterback. So 80, almost 90 points, scored like 65% of my points. I was down bad.
In this week's episode of the NFL is Weird, the Texans take down the Chargers. The Chargers really needed a victory in this one. Davis Mills had other plans.
Yeah, starting with the Texans. It's just a bunch of a random group of receivers. Obviously, Nico Collins, the rookie, but you get Brevin Jordan, and you get Chris Conley and Philip Dorsett. A retread, Rex Burkhead, another guy that does it all. The Rex Burkhead's the last running back standing in that backfield, and finally, a running back gets all the touches and does amazing things. Granted, it's against the Chargers, who have the worst run defense in the league, but that's what you do against a terrible run defense. You just keep gashing them. And Davis Mills looked a little serviceable in that game.
Tim Kelly is the offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, by the way. He's done a pretty good job this year.
Yeah. Obviously, they're
Texans since 2014.
Obviously, I think they're going to go with Davis Mills to start next year, depending on what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson and everything in that saga, or whatever quarterback they bring in. But Mills has shown some, quality, but he's a backup
qualities is the word you were looking for.
Yeah. Is he better than Sam Darnold? Probably right now.
You know what? Going into Sunday, had we recorded an episode that day, we probably would have said that this was like the sneaky upset game of the week, just because the Chargers were without everybody on offense.
Yeah, Mike Williams tested positive. Austin Eckler's out as well.
Guyton.
Jalen Guyton as well. Yeah, correct. And Donald Parham. But it didn't stop Justin Jackson from going off. Three total touchdowns or 2?
No, 2 with 8 catches, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns.
35 points for that man. Anyone that had him obviously plugged them in and played them, as I did across other leagues. You're rewarded handsomely, as Austin Eckler will be a legit top 5 running back again next year, he'll be right in that mix of the top 5 running backs off the board. From what we've seen this year, I mean, he's just a stud.
Okay, moving on. Not much to talk about here. Kansas City over Pittsburgh, 36-10. I'm actually surprised this wasn't a bigger blowout.
It was. It was Pittsburgh didn't score. Catch this stat. Pittsburgh hasn't.
Deontay Johnson's touchdown.
Yeah. Pittsburgh hasn't scored in the first half in the last 4 games, I believe it is. In the first half, completely blown out in the last 4 first halves. That's the first time that has happened since 1940. They're bad. Like we've talked about it all year. They're the worst 7-1 team in the league, and they have a chance to win the division in 2 weeks, which is just awful. The Bengals.
Mason Rudolph got some work in this one too.
Yeah. I mean, they're just getting blown out. Najee's shown that he's a top 5 running back, at least like touches wise. Obviously, volume's king. He might not be totally efficient with it, but when he's getting 5, 6, 7 targets a week, for fantasy wise, he's converting. But Deontay Johnson, that's it. Chase Claypool, nothing. Pat Freiermuth was out with a concussion. Yeah, going to be interesting to see what quarterback is there next year. Like you talked, Matt Ryan, possible.
Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, they'll all be on the move likely.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers would be obviously a huge upgrade.
Yes,
but obviously there's rumors. Obviously Ben's kind of like acknowledged like this is his last run with Pittsburgh. Do you think he's going to go play somewhere else? Is he going to do the one and done somewhere else, or he's just going to just call it?
I don't know how he can attempt with how bad he's been this year.
Yeah, at least like I don't know. He may try, but I don't know if anyone would want it. I
don't know.
But whoever, if he go play somewhere else, I want Houston. That slot receiver. I want the slot receiver in that offense.
Houston, Brandon Cooks,
Love
Ben
it.
Roethlisberger.
Brandon Cooks, top 12 wide receiver next year. Ben Roethlisberger is his quarterback.
All right.
So all the little check downs.
I almost said St. Louis. Los Angeles Rams beat the Vikings 38-23. The Vikings, even when they play good, can't win.
Hey, it's one possession game again.
Kirk Cousins, 315 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Alexander Madison
does what Alexander Madison does.
Justin Jefferson goes off. KJ Osborne steals a touchdown.
Justin Jefferson, the most receiving yards in his first 2 seasons of all time, passing Odell Beckham on the other side. Mm-hmm. Good for him.
Sony Michel is now an RB1 for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I know.
All the rest of the 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
And Cooper Kupp and OBJ scores another touchdown.
I believe Cooper Kupp has scored 11 straight games to the 100 yards. 10 or 11, I believe.
I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah, dude, he's on pace to break all the most catches and receiving yards on the 17-game pace. Is with the 17 games. The question is like, well, is it going to be an asterisk because like he's played 17 games and blah blah blah. But never know.
No, it won't be. But we'll all remember Calvin Johnson's dominance.
Yeah, and Marvin Harrison. That was
Harrison.
That was the receiving.
It was different then.
Oh yeah, like 149 catches in 2000, like early 2000s is like crazy.
Bills beat the Patriots. A lot changed in a short amount of time. Damian Harris was a monster with no Ramondre Stevenson. Josh Allen was wild, running all over the place. RB1.
Isaiah McKenzie
goes off.
11 catches on 12 targets.
For 125 yards, all career highs for him.
Yeah, no Gabe Davis, no Cole Beasley.
Jalen Waddle's just getting all the targets.
Well, that's what Jalen Waddle does.
That's what he does.
You have a lot of room.
I know. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, a lot of room.
It's just so annoying.
Yeah. Well, it's almost halftime, so.
Yeah, but they're driving.
It's almost halftime.
Jets beat the Jaguars in the who is worse game. Michael
The Jacksonville
Carter, 118
Jaguars are the worst.
Yes. Michael Carter, 118 rushing yards. Zach Wilson gets a long touchdown run. If you haven't seen that highlight, it was pretty sick.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. People thought like, remember the fake slide thing? People thought like that he faked going out of bounds and cut back in. So we'll have to wait and see what people think about that.
Waddle is at 6 or 7 catches now. He just caught another one.
7.
Yeah. Zach Wilson did nothing outside of that run, but he did not lose the game.
The worst part about this game is James Robinson tearing his Achilles. Hopefully
that might actually be it for his career, unfortunately.
I hope not. Obviously, we're seeing, Cam Akers getting activated less than 5 months removed from his Achilles tear, questioning if it was like a full tear or a partial tear. But they're saying he could be back for the playoffs, which I'm interested to see how that works. Some people had mentioned that, it was for pension purposes. Since he is a second round pick, they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, obviously, whereas James Robinson, an undrafted free agent. Kind of a bummer for him. We'll see if he can make it back by week 1 next year. But the hard part is with them taking Travis Etienne in the first round last year, what that's going to look like. So Bummer for him because he was a stud last year and he was still a stud this year. And Dare Agumbawale comes in and scores 15 fantasy points because the Jets can't cover anybody out of the backfield.
Nope. Eagles beat up on the Giants. Jake from State Farm is not the answer.
Nope.
Devontae Booker mixes in to neuter Saquon Barkley's value. Nothing happened on the Giants side of the ball. They just spread the ball all over the place. Devontae Smith saves his day with a touchdown. And Jalen Hurts did nothing.
No, it was a very weird day for him. Nothing on the ground. Got a couple touchdowns in the air, but it's hard to trust multiple pass catches in that offense. One of them is going to go off. You just don't know which one. Is it Devontae Smith? Is it Dallas Goedert? Is it Quez Watkins? Or is it the running backs? But Miles Sanders does get hurt again. Broken bone in the hand. Not going on IR. Nope, not going on IR.
Is he just going to wear a club or what?
I don't know yet. He's going to probably miss this week, but they don't want to put him on IR because he's already been on IR. And they're hoping to make they're still in the chance for the playoffs, so they don't want to put him on IR yet. But Dallas did clinch that division.
Yes, they did. Raiders beat the Broncos 17-13. For a while, it was looking like the Raiders were going to lose this one.
Yeah, I believe the Broncos had like 18 yards rushing, or something like that. This is awful.
It was exactly 18.
Melvin
2 for 10. Javonte Williams 7 for 12.
Melvin Gordon
-4.
My
he had
God.
0 yards total because he had 4 yards receiving on 1 catch.
Just ridiculous. Way to work your butt off for no yards.
Drew Lock.
He's gone next year.
He'll be lucky to have a job anywhere next year. Here comes CFL Drew Lock. Canadian Football League.
Yeah, people love him in the Canadian Football League.
Oh, he'd be a monster in the Canadian Football League with that kind of arm.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Jacobs, he runs all over the place, but doesn't matter because he still only ends up with 13.4 points because of -5 yards on. Oh, and he lost a fumble, so which he always does.
Yeah.
That dude loses a ton of fumbles.
Both those teams are just whack right now. And
Hunter Renfrow saves his day with a touchdown. He almost had a bad game.
Almost had a bad game.
Well, he had a bad one last week too.
Yeah, the Broncos, I mean, that's another talented wide receiver backfield that it'd be interesting to see if whoever gets there with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. Tim Patrick's still a very good wide receiver 3. Noah Fant, Albert O, and obviously Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Let's kind of see what that backfield looks like next year. If they're going to move on from Melvin Gordon, or are they going to give Javonte the full run next year, but interested to see which quarterback winds up there. Obviously, Rodgers was speculated this year, maybe next year, but I can't have Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers playing Denver. I can't.
That'd be pretty awful to listen to all the people here in the Mountain West. The most shocking result of the weekend, I didn't even realize it until just now. The Bears beat the Seahawks. I saw an article about this, but I was like, there's no way they won, right? And they did.
I was absolutely, when I was going through the bets this week, I'm like, oh, Seattle had to have covered. I pulled the score. I'm like,
no.
What? The Bears won? It was a snowy mess in Seattle.
Was it?
Yeah.
I gotta watch these. I gotta watch that highlight.
It was a snowy mess. DK Metcalf caught a long touchdown the first possession of the game. Caught one more ball for 0 yards the rest of the game. DK Metcalf, I bet he's gonna slide down draft boards next year.
He'll be value.
He'll be value, but it depends on which quarterback is there. Obviously,
I don't think it matters. I'm sure Carroll's probably gone.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna clean house.
We talked about that. Like that was kind of like that Bears Seattle game was kind of like who's ever going to be on
playing for their jobs.
Yeah, and Pete.
That was the nail in the coffin for Pete Carroll. That game right there.
I think they said this is the week where if there's a coaching vacancy on Tuesday, they can start asking permission to interview other coaches from teams. So we'll see if anybody gets fired, or maybe it's maybe it's next week. We'll see if these coaches get fired down the stretch. Obviously, freaking Nick Foles wins a game. Just that's 2021 right there. Because Andy Dalton's out. Oh my god!
This year was weirder. This year was weirder than last year.
All it took is for the Bears to start Nick Foles to win a game.
Yeah,
I think they've won
35, 250, and a touchdown.
I think they've won a game with all three quarterbacks.
Yes,
I believe so.
That's true.
Yeah,
Dave Montgomery had a good game. Darnell Mooney, 10.7 flex play, and Gerald Everett out of nowhere. He'll have those.
Mm-hmm. Nothing from Tyler Lockett. So I'm really interested to see what happens with these receivers without Russ potentially next year, unless maybe Russ stays if they fire Pete Carroll and they just. And that's the other option too. They get rid of Pete Carroll. Maybe Russ says, "Okay, let's try fire the whole staff, bring in somebody new."
It is going to be a really interesting year to be a Seahawks fan next year.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to watch. Well, we made it to halftime before the Monday night game did.
Yeah, we were talking last week about, with Urban Meyer getting fired. Obviously, that's the only head coaching vacancy out there. We did talk about Eric Bieniemy. Another one that I had just thought of earlier today, Kellen Moore.
I think he's so young.
I know, but so is Sean McVay. I mean, people want the young guys. People want the guys that haven't been head coaches yet. I mean, Brandon Staley just got hired. He's a young guy. Obviously,
Sean McVay is 35. I had no idea he was that young.
Yeah, he's still the youngest head coach in the league, I'm pretty sure.
Wow. And then Kellen Moore. I don't think Kellen Moore is 35. He is 33.
So that
is 3 years older than you.
I know, but McVay, yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. And McVay got hired at like 31. So it's not unheard of. I believe Mike Tomlin got hired at like 32, 33 in Pittsburgh. People want these young guys to come in and change what's going on. Can Kellen Moore, that would be a huge pressure hire from Jacksonville, whereas Eric Bieniemy might not be as pressure filled.
It would be crazy. Wow. This is super fantasy land and you would hate it. But what if the Seahawks traded for Mike Tomlin and kept Russell Wilson?
I'd rather just have Russ come to Pittsburgh.
No, that's true.
That's more realistic. But yeah,
Jason Sanders is on for the 59-yard field goal attempt, and the Saints called a timeout. Good job, Sean Payton. He would have made it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's been the trades for head coaches. I think the last one was the John Gruden one. Yeah, I don't see them trading a head coach. I do think Pete Carroll will be fired. Will it be at
He'll go back to
before?
college.
Before, is it going to be before the end of the season, or is it going to be at the end of
No.
the season? You think they give him the respect to finish it
Yeah,
out?
they'll give him. Yeah, they'll let him finish it out, and then he'll give a sappy press conference, and he'll be back in college.
He's like 80 years old.
He'll be back in college.
Oh man. And then
He's gonna pull a Herm Edwards.
obviously Herm Edwards is the man.
Let's see.
But I think obviously Matt Nagy is going to be
Pete
fired.
Carroll is 70.
70.
He looks much older. Oh,
Yeah.
that 59-yard attempt was not good.
Obviously Matt Nagy's going to be fired. Well, he should be fired.
Should be
What other head coaches are we axing? Vic Fangio?
no,
He won't.
no. The Broncos are too loyal.
Obviously, the Raiders will probably have a new head coach. Versace is the interim coach. Obviously, I mean Gruden got fired too. That's the other one.
They might move on from Mayock too. You never know.
Yeah. But obviously, Versace is probably not the head coach.
Isn't it normally 8 teams a year usually?
About, yeah.
So we're Giants.
They're bringing him back.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
They
I
said
guess
that-
it's only been 1 year, huh?
2.
I don't know.
They're bringing the band back together. They said they're bringing Daniel Jones back and they're bringing the head coach back. might fire
Sirianni saved his job somehow. I thought for sure he was only going to be a 1-year guy.
They might fire the GM and the Giants.
Gettleman, David Football Gettleman.
Yeah, that worked out.
Let's see.
Texans probably he's going to stay. David Coley.
Bears.
Yeah.
Vikings, maybe.
Yes, Mike Zimmer's got to go. He got to go.
He's had a long chance.
He's had plenty of chances.
Who'd the Falcons just hire? They're not moving on.
No, that it's year one. That's Arthur Smith, Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee's offensive line coach. Carolina? No.
Yeah. No,
Matt
they won't
Rule?
do it. They won't do it.
No.
Not yet. Not yet.
He's a yes man, so they won't do it yet.
No, not yet. Next year.
Do you think if the Buccaneers win another Super Bowl, I think that there'll be a retirement.
Oh. From who?
Arians
Tom
will
Brady?
retire. Arians will retire if Bucks win another Super Bowl. I think
He will not retire till Brady leaves that door. No way.
he
in
really
hell.
didn't want to. He really did not want to come back. Believe
Yeah.
there's some wife stuff there.
What do you think, Byron Leftwich? Think he's gonna get? He'll probably get some interviews.
He'll get some interviews. Seahawks,
Yep.
Raiders,
Yep. Jacksonville.
and that's it.
So
7.
6.
They'll be at 6. There'll be a surprise 1 or 2.
Yeah.
All right. Should we power through or
We can.
take
That's
a
up to
small
you.
break? Let's do it. All right. 4 matchups that matter, and that is all. Then we'll move on to a preview. And well, I don't know if we can preview yet. And then we will do the bets. First one being Lean and Redskins for life takes out Garrett Brinkman. Lean will not be riding the toilet seat once again.
Way to save his best performance for last. Good job in benching Dak Prescott. Good job.
Wow. Ballsy.
It didn't work out either way. But Joe Mixon, Sonny Michelle, and Dalton freaking Schultz goes off. Big games from kicker and defense. It's always nice when you can pile up 30 between those two.
Oh, I see. It was a
spots.
joke. Prescott scored 31.
It was a joke. It's on the bench.
I missed it.
I'm always throwing digs at Lean.
Okay.
Because he started Matt Ryan against Detroit. I know Dak's been having a rough go of it. But
It's a get right game.
yeah, dark horse riding high from the start of the year with Kyler Murray, Tyler Lockett, Hollywood Brown, and Derrick Henry and Darren Waller, all to see that get the rug pulled out from under them with the injuries and just losing a bunch. What was that, Dalton?
He went like this, and then
A steep ledge.
yes.
So
Weird one.
Dark Horse.
Blaster.
So Dark Horse will represent one team from I don't know the divisions, whatever.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, but he will represent himself in the toilet bowl. There will be a new toilet bowl champion, as you had mentioned. Blaster gets it done with the biggest point total of the year for him.
His biggest of the week.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I guess it doesn't count.
Yeah, it does. He was in the deficit.
Oh, okay.
He was in the deficit. Brinkman had before we go back, Dark Horse had a 17-point lead, 17.6 point lead going into this week. So Lean overcame that 17 points, whereas Blaster also overcame the deficit of, I believe, about 15.7. So Blaster puts up a square 164. We talked about Joe Burrow and T. Higgins, and man, it did not disappoint.
Saved his season.
Saved the season. That's now 7. Let's see. That's the 7th year of the league. So now it is 6 out of 7 years. Whoever finishes 12th does not ride the seat. So Blaster does it again.
Escapes the toilet.
Ekes out. That's 3 wins in a row.
Yep.
3 in a row for Blaster. Started
hottest team in the league.
Yep. 0-12. Wins his last 2 regular seasons. Wins the 2-week semifinal. Yeah. And now he just gets to play for, the cushy 9th, 10th place game. No skin off his nose now. Speaking of
weird one.
What? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You go.
Okay. Weird one. Sackett just keeps doing it. It doesn't matter how many goose eggs he has on his team. He just finds a way to win.
Yes. If we didn't make that clear, the other side of the toilet bowl is the other Brinkman.
Oh, sorry.
So we have the Brink Bowl for the toilet bowl. Brinkman, Stewart, that is. Not a great year. But we'll have a little brotherly rivalry next week to see who signs the seat at next year's draft.
Both of them will have equal odds at the number 1 pick next year too.
I believe the top 3 have equal odds.
Yeah, so
the loser
both of them will have equal odds.
Yep, no matter what happens.
Yep. So
Okay.
the loser between Lean and Blaster will have equal odds as well.
Correct. And then the 4th place one is it's very minimal difference. It's very top.
You're basically guaranteed the number 4.
Yeah, I believe the bottom 4. Yeah, it's
you're guaranteed 4 or 5.
Yes, no. The number 1 can go no lower than 5th. I believe the bottom 4 all have like a over 50% chance to be top 4. So they have greater odds to be in the top 4. And like you said,
yeah, the jersey escapes Heath once again.
Yeah, 2 years in a row. I believe Heath lost in the semis last year to me. And we might have a rematch in the 3rd and 4th place game.
I'm not calling it yet.
So, but like we said, Sackett, he keeps finding a way. I messaged him earlier. I'm like, I've talked so much crap on your team all year long, and you just keep pulling it out. He said, 1 week at a time. 1 week at a time.
We're on to Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati.
That's the name of the podcast.
We're on to Cincinnati. But it's so remarkable. Like, obviously he got the 3 massive games. Like that helps quite a bit. The 3 massive
one of them
games
wasn't even his quarterback.
Yeah, and he picked up Justin Jackson last week. Really wish I would have won that bid last week. I really could have used it. And it wouldn't have mattered. I'd be out. So, but the massive game from Justin Jackson, Damian Harris, and the man, Devontae Adams, between those 3 guys, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touchdowns. 7 touchdowns between those 3 players. He gets a goose egg. A guy gets hurt. He has a real crappy tight end. His defense scores -1. His kicker doesn't do anything and still manages to score just shy of 140 points. And I mean, I get the logic on the Tyler Johnson play. A little counterbalance from Antonio Brown, and Chris Godwin's out and Mike
It's the
Evans is
same
out.
thing as everyone who played Scotty Miller, and I don't think Scotty
Yeah.
Miller did anything either.
No, Heath had Scotty Miller on his bench, and it just the luck ran out for Heath. All the guys that have boomed all year long didn't boom this week. Just a solid week of 130 points, just under 130 points. You know, like a below average week for Matthew Stafford. Jonathan Taylor doesn't get the touchdown. James Robinson tears the Achilles, which is probably the difference of the game. I mean, obviously, Sackett does enough to pull it out, so I'm not going to disregard that. But James Robinson tears the Achilles, only gets 1 point. Renfro been on a tear, doesn't do much. Michael Pittman, good game. Mark Andrews doing what Mark Andrews does. Antonio Brown, who we thought could be the golden ticket potentially to the league championship again, an Antonio Brown champion, just would have made sense. Aaron Jones does average things. Great performance from the defense. I mean, Boswell did cost him 6 points. That doesn't make the difference of the game, but just we've talked about it all year long. Somehow, some way, any given Sunday, 2-time has a chance to make it 3-time, which we cannot. Everyone's always gunning for me. But now we got another person to gun for again. Cody has a chance to make it a 3-time champion, all with a couple years in between. Every time Sackett's made the title game, he's won. So who's ever playing him next week has to take down the beast.
The third place game is also going to be good next week, no matter who's in it.
But based on projections, the third place game would be a rematch of last year's third place game. So kind of those two guys can't quite get over the hump last 2 years. They're right there, 2 years making the semifinals. Before we touch on the other semifinal, we'll breeze through some of these other ones that don't matter. Let's see here. Or the matchups that don't matter. Oh, I took down Drew, thanks to Dallas defense and Alexander Madison. That's about it. I played Ben Roethlisberger because I had no quarterbacks. And then
Patrick beats Cole.
Patrick has a good week himself.
AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Burkhead.
Yeah, because why the hell not?
Yep.
He said it perfect. I mean, he benched Rashard Penny, but he just said, why not? David Johnson on the COVID list? Why not? I'm gonna play Rex Burkhead. So good for him. Patrick and I will match up next week, and Cole and Drew will match up for the 5th and 7th place games, respectively.
Okay.
And the final semifinal, not over yet. Not over. It is halftime. At this point in the ball game, Dalton is the leader in the clubhouse.
37.3.
37.28. Duke Johnson and Jalen Waddle have to outscore the Dolphins defense by, what would you say, 37? So
37.3, and he would win.
Yeah.
It's a long shot, but it's not over.
It's a long shot, but I don't see it happening. That's just my opinion.
Just like last week, I am not counting it out.
Nope. So the two scenarios would be Luke versus Sackett for the championship, since that game is wrapped up, or Dalton versus Sackett, which would be a fun one.
Does Luke have a jersey?
No, Luke has no jersey. He is on pins and needles. Heath also has no jersey. So if Dalton does win if Dalton were to win, 2 more jerseys would go to already jersey goers, jersey getters. But
it's been 7 years since I've gotten one.
2015.
14.
No, 14 was first year we played.
Oh yeah,
2015. So if that is the case, if Dalton does pull it out, it would be a rematch of the 2015 Succup Cup championship game between Dalton and Sackett,
I got destroyed.
And Sackett runs all over you. So in the rivalry in the Louis L'Amour.
Yeah, the L'Amour Bowl.
So
it's not great.
Maybe this is the time, if you make it, to get one.
We'll see. My team's looking a lot better than it was last time I was in this situation. So if I do advance, my team is much better than it was in 2015.
Yeah, I mean, and you did pretty well this week, obviously. Michael Carter, very good game. Herbert, okay. Debo does Debo things. Cup does Cup things. You have to plug and play Cam Brate out on the whim because Travis Kelce does not clear the COVID protocols. He does catch a touchdown.
I got the plug and play Josh Palmer.
Yeah, that I did not see coming whatsoever. Good for you. It gives you, another 13 points, 14.
It gave me
8 points.
Yeah, 8. It gave me an additional 8.
So, I mean, that's huge. And obviously Greg Joseph, and then you went and nabbed up the Dolphins defense. So that could be the make or break.
We'll see if they can hold on to their lead. And
looks
get
like
some more
second
turnovers.
half just kicking off.
Yes. Yep. Second half is away. The Saints are on offense, which is either less or more points for me.
Yep.
It was almost just another pick six as I was watching.
If they score another touchdown, you can mark it all but over.
Yeah, I'll text you.
Yeah.
We can call it. If there's another defensive touchdown, it's over.
That matchup I lost by 0.08 of a point. I texted the guy at 4:00. I was getting blown out. I was getting blown out of the way. I said, "Hey, good job. Congrats on the win. I saved my worst performance for last." And he's blowing me out of the water. He doesn't text me back. And then the Cowboys are scoring. And I'm like, I'm going to check the score of the game. And I'm in the lead. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a shot. What?
And then the last touchdown is why you lost?
No, I mean, it's also a yardage thing too. So they reward points for yardages. So I knew I was going to go down. I knew I was going to go down. Plus he had Gibson. So I figured I'd probably lose anyway. I didn't think it'd be 0.08 of a point, but yeah, but you play till the last whistle. But if the Dolphins defense, they get another touchdown, like you said, it's pretty much all but over at that point. I know Luke is hoping for a Christmas miracle still, with the chance for the Triple Crown. So this has obviously been the closest it's been for a while with the Triple Crown. Brinkman lost here as a Triple Crown hopeful years ago, I believe in 2017. So there will be one eventually. We'll see if Luke can somehow make a surprise comeback. And yeah,
Lean's trying to jinx me right now. I just got a text message from him and he said, I don't think it's too early to say congratulations. And I said, it's way too early, Lean. Stop it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the bets.
Yeah, so the bets. Excuse me. Maker's mark. So the recap of week 16. Dalton went 2-1.
Man, I thought I swept.
Nope, you did not sweep. You had +6 for the Lions, which you won, and another one +6 for the Bears. Yes. The one you did not win is I laid the 10 points for the Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I took the Buccaneers. So 2-1 to
That's
you.
the only bet I've lost this whole weekend.
So the running total for the weekly bets is Zach 23, Dalton 21.
Oh my God.
And I think we're going to make these through the end of the regular season because we're still going to have a podcast next week. We have a couple season-long bets we got to total up. There are 2 season-long bets, 3 season-long bets. They're done. I'm calling them. There's no way that they can come back from those. Let me pull them up. Let's see here.
Speaking of which, I might get Elijah Mitchell back next week.
Elijah Moore.
Yeah, Elijah Moore.
Which I don't know if you'd play him. That'd be real risky.
I don't know. It's either him or McLaurin who scores 5 to 7 points every week. So.
Yeah, that's true. So the bets that I am calling for the season long. Obviously, DJ Moore versus Calvin Ridley rest of the season from week 4 on.
I win.
Yes, that's for scored more total points. Which is funny, like, because I wanted to do the average points just because it just makes it look better. Calvin Ridley in his 2 appearances after week 4 scored 13.8 fantasy points. DJ Moore, which it's sad, only 13.09. Pretty sad. But so that is called. I am calling. I mean, unless these, I don't think this is going to matter. Dalton, you will get your number 3 pass catcher versus.
Really?
Yes, Dalton. Amari Cooper is now the number 3 pass catcher. Dalton Schultz
behind Schultz and
Amari Cooper's 3rd. So it's Lamb, Schultz, Cooper.
Holy
at
cow.
188. You got about a 45-point lead. That's pretty much that's done.
Yeah, it's over.
That's over.
Man,
so that
last night was the difference.
Yeah, big game for Schultz. And then I'm calling the Nick Chubb top 3 running back from week 8 on. You will not get that. I will take the win in that. Nick Chubb from week 8 on so far has scored 119.7 points.
Interception to Atonga Vailoa.
So the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 running backs over the last 8 weeks have been Jonathan Taylor, 211. Joe Mixon, 166. Austin Eckler, 165. James Conner, 152. Leonard Fournette, 141. Najee Harris, 140. Zeke, 123. And then Nick Chubb, a few more spots down.
I mean, it made sense at the time.
It made sense at the time. He's got a lot. He's not going to quite make it up. So he has averaged 17.1 fantasy points. He did miss 1 week of COVID and a bye week. So that is kind of where you're running into a problem there. So with those totaled up, and that right now season long is Dalton 2-1. It is running total with season long is Zach 24, Dalton 23. With 2 undecided. 2 bets undecided. The 2 bets undecided are the NFC West division title, Rams and Cardinals.
We could both lose that one, or no?
No, no. One of them will win it. Because Seattle and the Niners aren't winning the division. So ran to the inside track. And then over the next 2 weeks, next 2 weeks, week 17 and week 18, I need Taysom Hill 2 rushing touchdowns to capture that 6.5 rushing touchdown bet. So that could go either way. So, because he's got 5 right now, 5 rushing touchdowns. So, needless to say, it's very tight.
Should we put? No, because they don't have lines for week 18 yet, but I almost wanted to put 3 bets for 17 and 18 on the line right now, but there's no lines. So
no. Yeah, we'll have to do podcasts obviously after next week, week 17, and then maybe we'll be tied. I mean, the thing is we won't have some of those week 18 bets done until after things have been worked out. There's some
fun ones for week 17.
So, needless to say, it's pretty tight.
So, obviously, I'm taking the Ravens not to cover and the Lions to cover as a parlay. So, I already did that.
Okay.
It's plus 265, whatever. So,
it's your turn.
Huge spreads.
Oh, great. I love the huge spreads.
I know. So either the really tiny ones or the ginormous ones are hilarious. First, we have
are these the bets?
Falcons. Yeah, Falcons Bills. The Falcons are in Buffalo, and they are a 14.5-point dog.
Oh, God. Give me the 14.5 points.
Oh my God, I'll take the Bills.
That's so many points. No way. I'll take the 14.5. I'll take the Falcons 2 weeks in a row. That's fine.
Okay, I'll give you the Bills, 14.5.
That's too big.
Minus 14.5.
I'm hoping it's
Okay.
just snowing so much. And it's like a 14-3 game.
Okay, Buccaneers, Jets. Jets are a 13-point dog in the Meadowlands. Give me the Buccaneers minus 13.
I'm taking the Buccaneers too. Sorry.
Okay, give me the Jets plus 13.
You just want to go opposite.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fun.
Well, I know, but that one's pretty outrageous.
13?
No, it's Tom Brady. You never bet against Tom Brady.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Succup always says, "Sorry, I care about you."
Fine, we'll go the original. I'll take the Jets. I'll play nice. Okay.
All right. I just cashed out that bet I placed on the Jets because I really don't want to do that.
Fine. I'll take the Jets, 13.5.
Okay. Give
Where
me
was it?
Buccaneers
Oh,
minus 13.
yeah.
It's 13.
I feel way more comfortable with the Buccaneers covering a 14-point spread than the Bills.
Yes. Okay. Finally, we have the Patriots favored by 15.5 against the Jaguars at home.
Oh,
Patriots are at home. 15.5.
Oh my God.
I think I know the right answer on this one, but it's your turn.
Oh my gosh. 15.5. Give me Jacksonville. That hurts to say, but 15.5 is way too much. Over 2 touchdowns is insane.
So on the betting app, I'm going to take the Jacksonville and the points and the under because the odds of the Patriots scoring enough points to outscore Jacksonville by that many is very unlikely.
Correct.
But I will take the Patriots because that's what we do.
Oh my gosh. Those are massive spreads. Well, the Chargers were like a 13.5-point favorite for the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
That's just disgusting. Wait,
you want to hear about a garbage game?
Wait, so which ones are mine again?
You have the Jets plus 13.
The Jets plus 13, Jacksonville plus 15.5. And I took all the Falcons. I took all the plus. Oh my God.
This is gonna be fun.
Okay, that's fine.
The garbage game is the Giants Bears. Giants are a 6-point dog.
Someone I listened to a podcast and they said if you watch that game, you're gonna have a curse on your family for the next 3 generations.
If that game is on, I'm turning it off.
Oh, Jake Fromm versus Nick Foles. Oh, beautiful.
Jake Fromm, Georgia.
Oh my God. That's gonna curse you for the next 3 generations.
Put a curse on your family.
Oh, are you playing cards?
I'm just shuffling.
Yeah.
I needed some help.
Oh man. Dolphins got another sack. 2 sacks. Up to back up to 20.
What is that, 39 then? Or no? How many? I don't know. How many of my up are by now?
158, 117.
So 41.
17. Yeah, 39. Yeah, that is
39's a lot, especially since Waddle already has like 14.
Yeah. How many catches does Waddle have for the season? I'm gonna look that up.
A bunch.
He's got 86, so he might get to 100 this year.
Do we want to bet on this Giants and Bears game? Not for the podcast, but just for fun.
What's the spread? Where's it at?
6. The Giants are 6-point dogs in Chicago.
I believe that. I would take the Bears as much as I would hate that because David Montgomery's been a stud. They're just going to try to run the piss out of it.
What if, Dave Montgomery is going to be. So hold on. Let's do a same game parlay just for fun. We're going to go under 38 points.
Oh, yeah. Well, watch that game be like 41 to like 36 or something.
The Bears.
Well, it'd be the best game of the week.
Shut up. We're going the Bears. We're going the under. And where is the player props? Is it not going to give me player props? Team totals, winning margin. Is that it? Hold on.
I don't know if you can put a player prop into a parlay. I think you can parlay player props, but I don't think you can put a player prop in. Maybe you can.
I don't know. I'll have to look in that. Maybe they haven't released the player props yet, but basically take David Montgomery above 100 yards.
Oh, okay. Above 100 total.
Yes, 100 total yards above. David Mopportunity, as the fantasy footballers call him. Well, next time we talk, it will be wrapping up the championship game.
Yeah. Year number 7 winding down. By the time we talk next week, there could be a new champion crowned. Just got to depend on the matchups and everything, and maybe we push it. I mean, we'll talk. We'll see who's in the final, and if it comes down to Monday night. If it comes down to Monday night, maybe we have both
Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah.
Maybe have Sackett on, or if we want
whoever.
Or who's ever in the championship, or we can push it all the way to Tuesday and get the winner on. Go from there.
Huge play by Mac Hollins, maybe. I'm
Mac
not
Hollins.
100% sure who this Hollins is.
Number 85?
86.
86. Oh, Isaiah Ford is 80 something.
Who knows? Anyway, that'll do it.
That'll do it. We know 3 of the 4 teams planned for something. Brinkman, and Sackett.
Yes.
And
it's not over yet.
And Dalton or
Luke
in the hope of a triple crown.
It's not over yet.
We will post this soon, and hopefully later on in the week, I will give a little recap on the group page.
Later, boys.
See ya.